Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Time to start your Game of Thrones therapy session. That's right, our watch begins now, like the long watch till season 6 starts. Every year it always feels like the finales try to accomplish something a little bit different. I mean, it's really all about paying off the storylines that they set up this season. The extra bonus though is that we get to pay off some storylines from way back, like all the way back to Renly and Stannis. So just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet, so we can get right into it. And new round of the giveaway starts now. I'm giving away a signed copy of A Feast for Crows, signed by George R. R. Martin. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. So here we go. Stannis' sacrifice starts to turn sour. This is like the beginning of his worst day ever. Seriously, when Melisandre started to hear about all the bad things that were happening, it was just one thing right after the other. Half of the sellswords have left. They took their horses with them. What's that? You have some more bad news? Well, it couldn't be any worse than half my men leaving. Oh wait, no, my wife just hung herself. A lot of this gets into Melisandre misinterpreting her visions, which she's known to do. We have to jump to the Arya storyline real quick because I think there's this really important line that's relevant to what's going on with Melisandre. Jaqen says that only death can pay for life. What does that mean in the context of Stannis and Melisandre? Maybe the gift that the Red God is giving is something that they just haven't seen yet. It's not like ordering something off of Amazon. I mean, it's not like you sacrifice your daughter and you get the printer you want in the mail. Like when Jaqen says a debt is owed, that works two ways. So that also ties in with potential Jon Snow storylines. So even though it looks like Melisandre is getting ready to cry, she still might get some great gift from the Red God. If there's anything you can say about Stannis, it's that he is committed. Like he sees the Boltons riding on them, he still pulls his sword. On to number 9. Samwell wants to go to Old Town. This is a storyline that's right out of the books, and we really are right where the story in the books ends. Samwell goes to Old Town to learn to become a maester with Gilly and the baby. The only change is that Maester Aemon went with them and died on the journey. So just a minor change there. He died at the wall instead of dying on the way there. They're actually already scouting locations for Game of Thrones Season 6, and it looks like one of the locations that they've found is something that could be Old Town. Samwell's speech just confirms that. The only thing I took issue with was when Samwell said watching Gilly and the baby die would be worse than 1,000 White Walkers, and I was like, whoa, hold up. You did not see episode 8. White Walkers are way worse than anything, except maybe getting stabbed by Arya 1,000 times. On to number 8. Brienne finally kills Stannis. He's such a big character that they had to let him go out like a warrior, so that's why they let him kill those 2 Bolton soldiers. But there was no way he was going to survive. That's why they showed all that blood flowing out from him. Whenever the camera panned up though and revealed that it was Brienne, I felt like it could have been anybody. I didn't know if they would actually let her kill him in the finale. You can't say that the show doesn't pay big plot points off. It is a big change from the books. Brienne is in a completely different place when this is going on, and the battle for Winterfell is like a Winds of Winter thing, so we don't know how it's going to play out in the book. It might go the same way. It was such a satisfying moment. I totally do not have any issues with any of the changes they made. On to number 7 though, Arya shows mercy to Meryn Trant, now confirmed pedophile. Who else feels like him whipping all those little girls was just like a little much, and then he gut punched the girl that Arya was pretending to be. Really anything he would have done with any of those girls would have been super creepy because they are like really little girls. But this is going into like torture porn area. Can you imagine what he's done that he hasn't been caught for? Like what does he do when he's back in King's Landing? They just wanted to make that Arya payoff seem that much sweeter, but I feel like it was so extreme that it became abstract. But even given all the ice zombies that we've seen, air quotes, I feel like this is the closest Game of Thrones will get to a slasher flick. The craziest whip pan in that moment though is watching Arya go from this, stabby little girl, like slicing his throat saying, "Who are you? You are no one." Then on a dime turning into this scared little girl, like, oh my god, I can't see. On to number 6. Arya loses her sight, also really big book moment. In the books, Arya kills someone, it's a different person, but she still kills someone she's not supposed to. Then she wakes up the next morning and she can't see. The extra part that they added on was the magic with the faces. So the faceless men do practice a certain amount of sorcery when they're changing faces. There's like a magical component to it. So if you're confused as to, like why she kept pulling all those faces off till she saw her own, she wasn't hallucinating, she didn't get poisoned or anything like that. That was happening in real life, like right in front of her eyes. It's part of the faceless men's magic that she hasn't learned yet. One of the hardest things to judge is the timeline. Like how long between episode 1 and episode 10 has it been? Really, I think it's been a couple months. Cersei gets stuck in the black cells for a while, so I think that's a better benchmark. On to number 5 though, Sansa and Reek escape. Minor disappointment with this storyline. Sansa does show some courage, like she's ready to walk into the face of death, but Reek is the person who gets the kill. I understand he's on a redemption arc, so it was pretty likely that he was going to save Sansa in some way, but it would have been nice to see Sansa stab Miranda, like say with the barrel opener that she used to pick the lock. Usually people complain when a character gets killed off, but I think in the case of Sansa, people will be more upset that she didn't kill a bunch of characters off. It's just one of those storylines that's vastly changed from the books because they run into Stannis' army in the books before Stannis marches on Winterfell. So now we're in completely new territory. That being said, now that they're on the run, I feel like it's a good opportunity for Sansa to step up because Reek can barely function as a human being. He can barely speak in full sentences. On to number 4, Ellaria Sand poisons Myrcella. This is one of the better rug pulling moments in the episode because they have this really nice moment. She finally says, I totally know about you and Mom. I'm so happy that you're my dad. And then bam, she looks like she's dead. I can't say that I'm super close to the Myrcella character, but I'm really interested in the twist that this is going to open up in the Sand Snake plot. Because think about it, Tristane's on the boat, he loved Myrcella, he's going to be pissed. He's going to tell his father, Prince Doran, who's going to be pissed at the Sand Snakes. Ellaria did swear fealty to Prince Doran. I mean, she was weeping openly at his feet. You could argue that he told her to poison Myrcella, but he was so open about not killing little girls, so I don't think that's the case. I think she went rogue. You also have to remember that final moment with Bronn and Tyene Sand, where she's like, maybe you'll see me sooner rather than later. That's probably going to be the Sand Snakes in Season 6. That's another one of those storylines that they've changed a whole bunch, so we could see Sand Snakes showing up in places that they show up in the books, or they could completely change it. They definitely made hanging plot lines like, slam to blacks a big thing in this episode, where it's like, they give you like the, oh my god reaction, and then it's just gone. Like, you have to wait till Season 6 to find out what's going to happen. On to number 3, Daenerys gets captured by the Khalasar. I totally love Daenerys and Drogon. Like, he's very clearly licking his wounds and super tired, but he's like a little puppy who just shakes Daenerys off. Like, he's like, I'm tired, go away, Mom. They want you to feel like he's incapacitated, so Daenerys is on her own. He's not going to save her from the Khalasar. They did a good job of feeding us information though. She drops that engagement ring. I think it's Hizdar's engagement ring, so that Daario and Jorah will be able to find it and they can track her down. If you're confused about why that circle of horses started growing around her, that's just a battle technique to keep her from escaping. The Khalasar itself is actually made up of a bunch of people that used to belong to Khal Drogo's Khalasar. When he died, a bunch of other Khals rushed in to fill the vacuum, so the Khal that found Daenerys is just like the next biggest one after Khal Drogo. I know people get really worried about Daenerys, but she has this thing whereby she finds herself in shitty situations and completely turns them around, so do not expect the worst. We also have to give a big shout out to Varys, who is now with Tyrion. Try not to burn down Meereen while we're away. Seriously, now you have 2 bros in Meereen, Varys and Tyrion, and then you have 2 bros on a road trip, Jorah and Daario. That's probably going to be one of the funniest things next season, Jorah and Daario. Varys had this really awesome line too, where he said, "It's a grand old city choking on violence and deceit. If only you had some experience with something like that." He was obviously talking about King's Landing, also a grand old city choking on violence and deceit. The funny thing about Varys, though, is that he comes out of nowhere. He's like the Terminator, like the T-1000. He just slowly comes out of the wall, like you didn't even see him there. On to number 2, though, Cersei's Walk of Shame, also right out of the books. They do a really good job of showing you just how far she has to walk from Baelor's Sept to the Red Keep. It's a long freaking way. There's no way you guys would have been able to tell this, but if you were following the behind-the-scenes production, there was this big controversy about the city where they filmed that not allowing them to do a naked walk through the streets. What the production ended up doing is using a naked body double for Cersei because she has a no nudity clause in her contract, and then shooting the rest of her whenever she was shoulders up, so they didn't have to use a lot of CG to combine her head with the other body. It's just if you got excited about watching Cersei naked, you're not actually looking at Cersei naked. That's another actress with Lena Headey's head on her body. It is totally okay. We will not judge you here for getting excited about Cersei walking naked through the streets. I really started to absorb her emotions as she was walking through the streets. She slowly starts to break down. People shouting at her, like the nun ringing that bell. Once they started spitting on her, throwing trash, I had to look away for just a second because it was pretty terrible. But even as much as it seems like she's completely lost it, she's just completely broken down, she's bloody, she's covered in filth, the minute she hits the main gate of the Red Keep is when she just completely breaks as a human being. I was a little upset when they took it right back by introducing Robert Strong, right away. Seriously, you have her at her lowest point. She almost has this religious experience, an actual legitimate religious experience as she walks through the doors, and then they take it all back. It's like she's completely 180'd back to terrible person when she sees this big, strong person to kill all of her enemies. And no, they do not know anything about Robert Strong, about Pycelle's science experiment, which is definitely the mountain with necrotic tissue. You can actually see it between his eye holes. Don't forget though, Cersei still has her trial with the Faith, so that's clearly going to be a season 6 thing. And finally, no surprise here, my number one WTF moment for the watch. Jon Snow gets stabbed and left for dead. All the show people know exactly how the book readers have felt since 2011. Seriously, this moment has been around for the last 4 years, with fans trying to figure out how Jon Snow might be able to survive it. And you would be correct if you assumed there are a couple tinfoil theories. The most legit being that Melisandre's going to resurrect him, which I think is going to be the case. The other possibility being that he wargs into Ghost, or somehow he gets turned into a White Walker. Really, it takes you back to when Ned Stark was killed. The main hero, or who you thought the main hero was getting killed off. Everybody just remember though, Samwell said very clearly to Ollie, don't worry, Jon always comes back. That's a very important line. Jon always comes back. The really similar cliffhanger to this, like the, is he dead, is he not dead cliffhanger, was back from episode 4, where we didn't know about Barristan Selmy and Grey Worm, and we didn't find out who was alive and who was dead till the next episode. The problem with this moment, though, is that it is like very much a Book 5 cliffhanger. So the books won't tell us whether or not Jon's alive till Winds of Winter, which is at least a year away. I feel like people would have been screaming no matter what Dan and Dave did, but I feel like not letting us know what happened to Jon is the smart decision. Here's my big question for you guys. Do you feel like Dan and Dave did the right thing in not telling us what's going to happen to Jon Snow? And how do you think that he's going to come back? I'm also thinking about all the people that were so bummed that Benjen didn't show up in the episode. Seriously, that early recap of Benjen posted, and people had so many theories. I tried to stay away from it because I saw it so late. And there was the IMDb post saying that Benjen was going to be in the episode. Generally, I've just learned not to trust IMDb, and I feel like they didn't need to put Benjen in the recap. I think the reason they did is because it had been so long since the name Benjen had been said out loud on the show. Those of you that are still really upset about Shireen, especially since it seemed to amount to nothing, just remember that death has to pay for life. So I think that life is going to manifest in the form of Jon Snow coming back. Now that we've had the finale, what's going to happen is tomorrow I'm going to post my season 6 predictions. I'm going to do an extra giveaway. I'm doing the book giveaway in this video, but tomorrow there'll be an extra giveaway in my predictions video, and I'll announce the winners of both of those in the Q&A video. They should also post Monday night, or at least by Tuesday morning. And by the time those drop, I should have an idea of what my next bonus video is going to be, but I will do a bonus video later this week. I'm not going to wait a full week to do another bonus video. If you have any requests, just leave them in the comments. For those of you that really want me to do like a rating for this finale relative to the other finales, what I'll say is, I'll say thumbs down for Sansa, thumbs up for long payoffs and some of the really good cliffhangers, and another thumbs down for that final Cersei moment. Exciting to see Robert Strong, but really upsetting to see that her character didn't learn anything from that experience, other than she should kill more enemies even faster. If you want to give the episode a thumbs up for anything though, I would give it a thumbs up for thematic consistency. So we open with Stannis' very bad to worst day. That's kind of a metaphor for the entire episode and what's going to happen in episode 1 of season 6. Like you think things can't get any worse, and then all of a sudden they do. We have not hit rock bottom yet. So if you guys haven't seen it, earlier today I posted a video all about Aegon the Conqueror and the early history of the Targaryen family. You can click here to watch that, and you can click here for my episode 9 video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.